Utilizing digital art to satirize mothers counting down to zero can be a way to not only reference collective experiences from childhood, but also a method to flirt with the idea of standing up against authority figures, like teachers or other family members who may employ counting to zero as an intimidation tactic to command certain behaviors. So what would happen if you actually ignored an authority figure and continued to mess around? Well, as it would turn out, there have been shitposts to answer this question for a few years. In 2020, we saw that people who let their mother count to zero trend sweep the internet, and then now, in 2022, we've seen it mutate to just mum counted to zero instead, demonstrating a perspective shift from third to first person. This year, it seems to have been repopularized by Luke Correa's voiceover on the 8th of March, from which a cascade of similar clips would spring up across the internet. It's worth noting this clip is inspired by a meme created by GGEZZ in 2021, which seems to have bridged the perspective shift. It's fun to imagine the extreme consequences of what would happen if a countdown got to zero. It's so rare that it does happen that speculating it might result in a world-ending event feels like a natural answer. This brings to question whether counting down to zero is actually a decent technique to get a child to behave. Well, apparently it depends, of course, on the context. If one sets a clear consequence of what will happen should one get to zero, such as removing toys for a day, then the child is far more likely to do as asked. However, if one gets to zero and doesn't act on it with constructive discipline, then the child is highly likely to just keep on doing whatever they're doing. I can't speak for all parents, of course, as I'm not one, but from research on forums and speaking to actual people and thinking of childhood experiences, I can gather that it's a pretty subjective technique. It's fascinating how simple images or shitposts can bring together millions across the world in terms of referencing a shared experience, and this is where the communicative power of this trend lies. Not only does it reaffirm the fact that something people went through is common and therefore recognized as normal, it allows people to blow off steam when it comes to lightly criticizing the techniques used by guardians of their childhoods. There's no doubt many felt frustrated when told not to do something they really wanted to do as a child, even if it was really stupid, and hearing the infamous countdown to a possible threat lights up those memories. Essentially, Mum Counted Down to Zero reflects a part of many people's childhoods that can utilize digital art to be explored later on in life, and the fact that meme culture can accommodate this expression just goes to show how well a simple image or video can condense and communicate a fairly nuanced subject. What meme would you guys like me to give a lesson in next? Let me know in the comments below.
And remember, like and subscribe! Or else.